Hi folks, it's Darcy from the PurposefulPantry.com and welcome back to another edition of Drycember, where we're taking a bite-sized chunk out of learning to dehydrate all month long. And today we're talking about pre-treating fruit. Now, not all fruit needs to be pre-treated. We're talking about those that are primarily affected by oxidation. When you cut them and you expose that skin to air and they begin to turn brown. We're talking primarily apples, bananas, pears, peaches, and potatoes. They do it too. And what I'm going to do during the video is walk you through the process with one ingredient, but then show you some of the options that are out there of other ingredients that you can use. And the one I forgot was Sprite. You can use Sprite too. What I have available for you is there is going to be a printable worksheet that has all of the different ingredients and the formula that you need to use for that versus water in order to use it to do a bath for your fruit. It will be available in my Purposeful Pantry library, which is a library full of free printables for those of you who are members of the Purposeful Pantry newsletter. I'll leave a link down below. You join the newsletter. You can then get the access code to the library, go in, enter your password, get inside, and you can download tons of printables and information sheets for you for your dehydrating journey. So if you're ready to get started, let's go. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about pre-treating fruit. Fruit that oxidizes is something that turns brown when it's been sitting out. So you've seen that in apples, you'll see it in bananas, you may see it in peaches. But anything that if you leave it sitting out, once it's been cut, starts to turn brown, that's the kind of fruit that you want to pre-treat if you care about the color. Now for me, for apples, I don't care because they go into other things. If I'm planning on doing something for a specific snack, then yes, I'll pre-treat it. But if this is going in for my dice for oatmeal or bread, I tend not to care as much. But what we're going to do today is we're going to walk through a couple of the ways that you can do pre-treating for your fruit, and I'll have a printable available down below that will have the ratios of what you should use so that you can just print it off and keep it in your binder. Okay, so here are some options. You can use pineapple juice. You want to use 100% pineapple juice. You don't want to use the heavy syrup. The acid that is in the citric acid that's in this is enough to reduce the browning. It won't stop it all, but it certainly tastes better than if you use just lemon. Okay. You can use citric acid. A lot of people will have this, a lot of places will have this in winemaking supplies, but I'll leave a link down below where you can pick this up. It's an option for you if you don't always have fresh lemons available. You can use a honey solution, which is a little bit like using a simple syrup solution to soak things in for things like cranberries, but this actually does help reduce some of the browning. It does not stop it, but it helps reduce some of it. You can use Pectin, which is a thing that we use for canning, but you can actually use this also to help stop this the oxidation of your fruits. So that's an option for you. And again, I'll have a printable down below that will give you the ratios of what to use for these. Another option, which I don't have here because I don't use it, is something called Fruit Fresh. That it's a shakeable preservative that you can put on your food. You can also use vitamin C tablets that you can pick up that you can just crush and then you've got it as well. Or you can use lemon juice. You can also use lime juice depending on the flavor that you want. You can use orange juice, but orange juice doesn't have anywhere near the amount of acid that this does, but it's also an option for you. So let me rush ahead, get my apples ready, and I'll show you how I do it. Okay, what I like to do is I like to get my lemons and I just give them a good rub to start to break up some of those cells inside to get the juice going. Now, no matter what you do, some oxidation may still happen because it's not foolproof, but at least you're stopping most of it this way and it gets you a good head start. So I'm going to use the juice of probably 2 lemons and then stop there because these are relatively juicy. Okay, so what I have ready now are some of the slices that I did of my apple. I have this little mesh sieve that I can then just dunk my apples into the water. Make sure to run these through so that all of the surface areas get exposed to the lemon juice. So I just make sure they're all done that way. Then what I can do is I can take this over to the sink and rinse out the apple slices and get the surface water from the lemon juice off so they aren't quite so tart. We are good to go. Save that lemon juice for the next batch, and I'll be right back. So the dices that I got ready, just in that time, you can see they're already starting to brown a little bit. I have these really tiny fine dices that I like to dehydrate, and they will be quite small when we're all done. But that's what I like to add to my oatmeal. So I'm going to put this in here, because again, it makes it easier for me to fish them out of the water when I'm done. Then I'm going to take this and just let it soak in the water. And you can see here, everything's being exposed, so I don't have to do much to it. So while those are soaking, I'm going to go ahead and finish the rest of my dices. All right, so because my family's asleep, I'm not going to be doing this as hard as I would if everybody was awake, because I'm doing this super early in the morning. So don't think that this thing is so hard to press down. I'm just trying not to do the huge slap, okay? Okay, so I will just add these to the batch. And make sure they've had a good soak. And then when I'm done, I'm going to take this basket and just run it under the water, and we are good to then start dehydrating. So again, this is a quick way of doing this so that you have a reduced amount of oxidation that happens when you're dehydrating. So if you have been following along of all of Drycember, but you missed yesterday's video, I'm going to have it right here in the cards, right there. If you are new to Drycember and you'd like to learn more, the entire series is available for you here. And if you like what we're doing, right here, you can subscribe to the channel, and I will see you again tomorrow for another edition of Drycember.